In ring, Swerve's never been in question. He's never been in question. More than a solid wrestler. Very good. But it was everything around him. How do we get Swerve to that next upper echelon? And I don't want to say it was just the dance, but the dance played a key factor in it, as well, of course, as the story with Hangman Adam Page. I think Adam Page deserves massive praise. You know, how generous and giving he was in every single one of those Swerve matches he had, because he knew we have to work hard as a team, as a collective, to get this guy over. Not like it was do or die or anything like that, but they knew they had something. It's just we need a solid story to really show the crowd this is one of our guys. After months and months of nearly moments, nearly ascending to that position, nearly becoming the guy, Swerve Strickland has finally done it. Swerve Strickland is the AEW World Champion, and it is a real feel-good factor. You know, I wouldn't quite say it's Kofi Kingston winning at WrestleMania 35, but there is something really special about this. For me personally, someone that is like really interested in telling stories and some long-term satisfaction, I think we've really got that in watching Swerve's ascent to the top of AEW. Now, of course, Swerve got to AEW via losing his job in WWE. If all had been well, he may still be in WWE, and only God knows what he would be doing in WWE. No one better than Swerve himself told the story that, you know, they called me, they reached out to me, they tried to bring me back, and we saw the rest of his Hit Row members, you know, return to WWE, and it didn't really work out well for them. Now, you know, AJ Francis has gone on to find himself on the indies, is doing some fun stuff there. They've tried to package Asante the Adonis and hasn't really worked just yet, but it looks like they're actively trying to find a place for him. And B-Fab has found herself alongside Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits as of recent times. So it's only now that these guys are really finding their feet in WWE or elsewhere. Whereas Swerve Strickland, he came into AEW, and I can't lie, I was one of the people that I thought, okay, what is he gonna do here? We had him with Keith Lee. He had a solid tag run with Keith Lee, but then they never actually paid off their story between the two of them that they were trying to tell. And after that, he was just really floundering for a bit until he found this kind of current iteration of the Mogul Embassy, because Lord knows they went through some iterations with some certain people that don't even work for the company anymore. And Swerve Strickland has went from a place of, right, we need to do something with him because he's obviously talented and people like him, to a point where, you know, I hate to use the phrase, but he became undeniable. He was the people's choice. That Full Gear match that he had with Hangman Adam Page, you know, everything leading into that match was brilliant. Their match at Wrestle Dream and stuff, but that match was the moment where people said, right, Swerve Strickland, when are we doing it? When are we putting the AEW World Championship on him? This was no longer a token gesture just to give a black man a championship and say, oh yeah, we done it, and we kind of done it in record timing. We didn't wait 10, 15, 20 years to do it. We've done it now. This was not that at all. This was someone that had organically got over with the crowd, and absolute kudos to Prince Nana. I'll hold my hands up now. I said that Prince Nana added nothing to Swerve's act at one point. I said that. I thought like Prince Nana was very good. I've seen Prince Nana all about the kind of independent scene through the years and thought he was good, he's a good talent and everything like that. But what he was doing for Swerve at the time, I couldn't see it. How is this, you know, making me any more invested? Or how are you selling Swerve to me through what you're doing? And this is even before the dance came. And it's funny, weeks after I said that, literally a matter of like 2 to 3 weeks after I said that, the dance happened. And when the dance happened, you know, that was something that fans had to hook onto. Every time Swerve came out, we now have something to do. It's not just Swerve's house anymore. We have a dance to do. We loved it. The dance went viral. Like, it was incredible. This was just natural, organic crowd swell. People falling in love with this guy. In ring, Swerve's never been in question. He's never been in question. More than a solid wrestler. Very good. But it was everything around him. How do we get Swerve to that next upper echelon? And I don't want to say it was just the dance, but the dance played a key factor in it, as well, of course, as the story with Hangman Adam Page. I think Adam Page deserves massive praise. You know, how generous and giving he was in every single one of those Swerve matches he had, because he knew we have to work hard as a team, as a collective, to get this guy over. Not like it was do or die or anything like that, but they knew they had something. It's just we need a solid story to really show the crowd this is one of our guys. And And now he's gone on, he's won the AEW World Championship, and I put him in the category of a Hangman Adam Page and MJF. He is Swerve Strickland and he sits alongside those names, and one thing those names have in common is that AEW truly made these guys. Now, to a degree, Hangman Adam Page was just arriving. When AEW came into business, he was on the cusp. He was just kind of arriving at that kind of main event level spot. But the story with Kenny Omega pushed him in there. MJF, solely AEW. All the work he did with AEW, people putting him over, people wanting this guy to succeed. Maybe he threw his toys out the pram at a point, but MJF at that point, you know, there wasn't anyone else that would kind of argue against MJF becoming champion. And that's where we find ourselves now. Post all the Hangman feuds and all of that kind of stuff, you couldn't argue that the right person to become AEW World Champion was Swerve Strickland. From All In last year, to put him in that tag match with Sting in Wembley in front of 70,000 people, that was the moment that they wanted Swerve Strickland to pay off. That investment that they made in him, it was time to, you know, make it blossom, if you like. And he went from All In to then having that great match at Wrestle Dream with Hangman, repeating it a month later at Full Gear in that Texas Death Match, to having an outstanding run in the Continental Classic, to then, you know, it should have been Revolution. Let's be honest. Revolution is when he should have been crowned, but Revolution was also the point where Sting was retiring, so Sting had the main event. And I literally think it's just a thing where they didn't want to crown a new champion not in the main event, and maybe they didn't want the whole Sting thing to kind of overshadow him. So in that case, it's a right choice that they held off. But by Dynasty, you could not hold off anymore. It was time to cash out. The investment had matured, and we're looking now at a landscape where AEW have crowned a deserving champion, an organic champion, the first ever African American champion. It's all deserved, and I have to kind of congratulate and give big praise to AEW for following through. It's very easy for someone from WWE to come and you shoot them to the moon and you give them the titles and all of that kind of stuff. And I know when Swerve left WWE, he wasn't of that level just yet anyway, but you know, he has worked so hard to get this spot, and not just in the ring. I think the stuff he's done for the culture, bringing more of like the hip hop scene and the, you know, pop culture scene into AEW through what he does, the music or the podcast, all of that kind of stuff. He's been a true representative, and you know, now he is the AEW World Champion, and this is the biggest way that they can say thank you and show him that, you know, we are in your corner, we're backing you, sort of thing. So it's super impressive to see that, you know, Swerve Strickland, this guy that, you know, has been somewhat of an indie darling in the last 5 to 10 years, worked his way through the indies. He's now the top dog of one of the biggest promotions in the world. There's no other way to slice it. He has done a fantastic job. The investment has paid off, and this is why you just have to keep investing in these younger talents, in these talents that clearly want it. I think one of the things I love about Swerve was that I know that WWE came for him maybe illegally to try and get him back into the company, and he very firmly, I even said at a point he snitched, but he very firmly said, no, like, I am AEW, I'm not gonna go back there, where things probably would have been easy for him. He knows the system, he knows the people and all of that kind of stuff. He made himself uncomfortable. And said, I have to do it here at this point, because ultimately, let's be honest, that WWE job will always be there. Let him do it on this foreign ground, on this new soil, and he's done it. He has absolutely done it. Big shout out to AEW for absolutely backing this talent. Big shout out to Swerve Strickland for making it happen. It's not easy. It is not easy. So he's absolutely made it happen, and the investment has paid off in a huge way. Swerve Strickland, AEW World Champion. The investment has paid off in a huge way.